Hello and welcome to Bounty into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounty into Comics, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Donald Edmonds and Drew Taylor. How's it going, guys?
Hey man, what's going on?
Back from work at an undisclosed location.
Happy Friday. So we're going to talk about some WandaVision tonight. They put up 2 episodes 1 and 2. They're both about like half an hour. Sitcom length. That's kind of what we expected. I think they made it clear that's what it was kind of going to be in a couple of press releases leading up to it. What's that?
It kind of sucks though, because we were expecting like an hour, not like The Mandalorian.
I as long as they put up like a couple episodes, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I wish they would do at least like another 10 minutes, like 40 minutes would be a good number. But it is what it is. But at least they put up 10
minutes though of like title and scroll and credits.
Yeah, I know. And
they did give you it's like 5 or 10 minutes for the credits. It's like a lot of time. I think the first episode was actually, it ended at like the 25-minute mark, and then you got 5 minutes of credits. Yeah. So I would assume it was probably about the same for the second episode, because I didn't really pay attention to it. But I know it was 37 total, so it was probably like 32.
I mean,
episode length. That's not including the opening stuff too, which is probably about 2 minutes.
I just don't understand why a lot of these things, like The Mandalorian and now this, are only like 30 minutes. You know, I if you watch like even like an old, even something like that, even like an older show. Okay, so you take the commercials, like the commercials out of that, it's about 44 to 45 minutes, because that's what a standard normal broadcast television show without the commercials used to be. So why don't they go by that formula and just stick to, a 45-minute episode?
I feel like for this one, they're definitely trying to go for a sitcom style length. So sitcoms are usually half an hour. So that's kind of where they went with that. I mean, Roseanne is like half an hour. Last Man Standing is half an hour. All the sitcoms are half an hour. What was the Charlie Sheen one?
2.5 Men.
Whatever. 2.5 Men. That's half an hour. So half an hour for a sitcom style isn't out of the order. That's normal. So I'm not like a little surprised for that.
Having said that, I wish they had thrown in more of their commercials into the WandaVision show.
Yeah,
that would have brought in the feeling a little bit more. But
we got 2 commercials, 1 in each episode. The first one was a Stark commercial, and then the second one was a Hydra commercial, which I thought that was really interesting. So it's like Hydra's still around, maybe?
I don't know. That's
so
very weird.
We get a Baron Strucker reference.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Strucker, we make high-end watches. Which is weird. It's kind of weird because it's post World War II. At least like the sitcom is supposed to be post World War II. They're talking about communists and Bolsheviks in both episodes.
Wait, that's relevant now.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side it is, but yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. But then you had like, it was like Strucker and it says Hydra on it, and it's like, so obviously like we know something weird's going on, but still like we know we're in some kind of alternate dimension.
Of course.
At least comic book people have figured that out. My wife has no idea what's going on. She's like,
yeah, my girlfriend was like, no idea.
It was she was like, she's like, what is she doing? How is she here? Like, what's happening? Like, I don't know anything about Wanda. Like, what's going on here? Even if you've watched like Endgame or Infinity War, you have really no idea. You would really have no idea like what is happening in the show. Like, why is Wanda and Vision in like a sitcom? Like, what's going on? So I think that's like a huge problem with the show for people who don't know anything about Wanda and some of like the storylines from the comics. They don't you don't really know what's going on. You're kind of just like, what is this? Is this like a sitcom? Is this actually supposed to be a sitcom in the MCU? And then there are some like weird things that might like you get the radio in the second one, and then the person watching the sitcom in the first one, and then the guy climbing out of the sewer, and then you get the helicopter in the second one as well. So you get those like weird instances there, but for right now it doesn't connect. Like if you're an MCU watcher, there's like no connection to the MCU whatsoever, and you're kind of like wondering like what in the world is going on. Initial reaction for that.
Yeah, but for me, I got tipped off to some stuff that I am writing about right now. So you guys.
Well, yeah, there's a reference to that. We'll get to that.
We'll
get to that. That was one of the few things I wrote down. They like the way she delivered it was like, okay, this is.
Yeah, it was too on the nose.
It was so on the nose. I was like, okay, come on now.
So I guess we're doing that. We don't care about China no more. We're going in.
Well, the show's attacking commies, so
there's some really sexist stuff in there too, which made me
really?
cheer on a little bit.
I with like what the conversations that they were having.
Yeah, just like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? And then like, here's your
she
outfit.
Wears the pants.
Like putting her in the outfit during the magic show.
Oh, that was a total ripoff of Zatanna. I love the outfit. Don't get me wrong, but I was just like, wow, they really decided to just rip off Zatanna there. Like, put her in the top hat, gave her like the black outfit, the tight leggings as well. Like, I mean, it's totally Zatanna's outfit. It was Zatanna.
I mean,
all
I'm
the
not
way.
complaining.
Oh no, I'm not either. But I thought so let's start with the first episode. We'll just get right into it. I thought the first half of it was just unfunny. Like the puns, like the laugh track was irritating. I was like, I don't know. It was just very punny, and I don't know. The humor didn't work for me. I was like, this is dumb. But then when they got to when they changed the style of humor, they changed it to the situational humor when they get to the house. And they're doing the dinner and stuff, and like all of the awkwardness with like trying to host Mr. and Mrs. Hart. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I think the situational stuff hit better than
I was actually I was laughing quite a bit at that because I thought that was kind of funny. And then watching her like burn the chicken and then she like turns them into eggs. I thought that was funny.
Throws the lobsters out the window.
Yeah, and then the lobsters at the end is the door knocker. Like Agnes put it on the door knocker. So I thought that was that was pretty funny, and I enjoyed that. But the first half of the episode, I was not feeling it. The jokes about Vision being a computer and he's like increasing productivity by 300%, and I was just like, eh.
I kind of found it Office funny. You know how in the Office
I don't like the Office, so
yeah, he's just trying to figure out what they do there.
Yeah,
but they're not really specific about what they do because it's a made-up world, and but they've increased productivity in this made-up thing by 300% because of his contribution.
Yeah,
but that's only funny if you know the comics and you know that it's a made-up world, and that's why they don't know what they're doing.
Okay, so then it's just
like because that's like I feel like because like my wife didn't laugh at any of that stuff either.
Yeah,
so.
My girlfriend didn't laugh either.
Yeah. But we were like laughing at the stuff, the situational humor especially when that 70s show mom showed up who plays Kitty. She looked exactly like Kitty too, by the way, from that 70s show.
Nice.
But I think you're going to say something else there, Drew.
No, it's just I mean, the initial humor was really kind of like it was hit or miss. It was only going to land with a few people, and I didn't really dig that either. And, it was more when it turned into just the funny situations.
Yeah, I didn't think it was witty. It was just a bunch of
Yeah.
puns. I don't know. I was just like, okay,
Yeah, puns are okay
Yeah.
when you're in the mood for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought the show did hit it, like that first episode hit its stride once you got to the you got to the house, and like she's dressed up in this like gown, and she thinks that the Mr. Hart is Vision, and she like puts her hands around him, and they have to try and make it out to be like, oh, it's a Sokovian greeting, whatever. It's all European. It's European. They're European. I thought that was funny. A little bit of a ribbing of the Europeans there. So yeah, that was all really fun. And then trying to like stop them going into the kitchen. Some of it was like, I did like the callback. So like he, like from the Office situation, he was listening to the Yakety Yak Don't Talk Back on the radio, and then he uses that song to like distract them. He starts just like it. As much as I hate the scene in Guardians of the Galaxy when Star-Lord starts dancing to distract Ronan, because I think that's just utterly ridiculous that Ronan would have been just like, you're an idiot and smash the planet. The distraction works in this situation because it's stupid, but it's also not like some guy who's like literally his main goal is to just destroy a planet. This guy's just like there for a dinner. He's just like, what are you doing?
Do you think that was a callback to the Guardians reference?
I don't think so. I just think it was just a similar situation, preventing someone from doing something and doing a dance, like dance song, which is kind of what he does. But yeah, so I like that. I mean, it's hard to really. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot really to say. Like, did you like the humor or not? Because we don't know any. There isn't really a story because it's a sitcom, and if the story works, and then there's a bunch of Easter eggs kind of hinting at a story. Yeah, because we have really no idea what's happening. What about is saying the concept of WandaVision seems interesting, which is why it was one of the few new things I was looking forward to from Disney Marvel. Yeah, the concept that we know about from leaks, I guess, and potentially, I don't even feel like we know what the concept. Like, if you don't know about the leaks or you don't know about Wanda from the comics, I feel like they haven't communicated what the actual concept is. They're relying on people who know the comics to kind of communicate that.
They're relying on marketing. They're relying on everyone to have this library of knowledge already.
Yes.
You know, well, I'll give Marvel this credit.
Which we do.
They made a lot of fans learn about the lore and learn about the history of the characters. It drove them to the comic books for a little bit. It drove them to like the back issues.
Back issues more so than
the new stuff. But you know, it's just like they did their work to get people to start reading some of the older stuff and learn about these characters. So yeah, they know their audience.
I still think normies and like general MCU fans have no idea anything about WandaVision, or they don't know anything about Scarlet Witch aside from what they've seen in Ultron and Endgame and Infinity War, and then a little bit, I guess, in Civil War when she blows up the building in the beginning. But yeah, I mean, because she's kind of just been a supporting character for the most part, and then even an antagonist in Ultron before she switches sides at the end. But yeah, so the only bit of a story we get in the first episode is there at the end. Well, I guess we get the part where she like Vision, the guy starts choking on like a sausage or something. It looks like a breakfast sausage. And they're all just kind of like watching, and then Kitty, Mrs. Hart, just says, stop it. Like someone was actually like trying to like communicate through her, or like to Wanda to stop it.
Or it's she was like breaking character almost.
Yeah, she was breaking out. Yeah, well, so I thought it was a little bit of both. I thought it was someone kind of communicating through her, telling Wanda to kind of like stop what was going on, And then also like the whole like scenario was breaking down because that guy was pressing them on these questions and their backstory that she hadn't created yet for this like the assumption is she's created this world for this world that she's created. And then she obviously tries to correct it by telling save this guy, puts it back on the right path, they leave, and then you get the kind of the end scene there where they're just like, oh, our anniversary is today, here's our rings. And then there was something else that they added to their backstory, like
Yakety Yak is their wedding song.
Is their song? Yeah,
song, yeah,
correct.
One of the things that I was wondering is she starts the guy starts choking only after he's questioning them consistently.
Yes. Oh, I totally thought that was. I feel like that was her subconscious. To me, yes, that's how I read that. Her subconscious totally started having this guy start choking on the sausage because it was putting the world out of order. No, the world out of order.
Oh yeah,
because he was asking all those questions. And they didn't have the backstory for it, so it was breaking down the illusion that they had created. That's Don ringing the cowbell, Lofter. Come on,
Lofter, you've been
should know. You should know. Sentinel says more cowbell. Hammer of Doom says nope, not sold on this at all. No, he's actually choking on the sausage. You know that I'm married and I have a kid. The bell is part of the. Don has made the bell part of the show.
Yes.
Yes. So for those who don't know, we actually had this question asked to us on Wednesday. The bell is rung when rung for hot ladies or sexual innuendos that are made when most of us don't know they're making. Don hears them. He picks up on them really good. So whoever makes the sexual innuendo, usually it's me when I'm not even doing it on purpose. The bell gets rung.
Don already knows my twisted mind, so I don't get many of the cowbell because mine are on purpose.
Yeah.
Mine are purely on an accident for the most part. But yeah, Hammer of Doom says nope, not sold on this at all. I'm kind of with you as a first impression. Like I said, this is what I think. I think it's really weak on story, and I think half of the humor of that first episode I did not like. I was really bored through the first half, but then I did like the situational stuff in the second half, and I kind of was enjoying that. And then they kind of changed it up in the next one, so we got totally. We still got the situational humor in the second part, but again, the first half of that second episode I thought was kind of lame too. I didn't buy the whole like Vision being a pansy. Like cowering in the bed. I was just like, what?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a reference to an old show where the husband is the pansy. Because I thought it was like very Bewitched. Like the opening felt Bewitched. Like I don't watch any of these. I don't watch those old sitcoms, so I don't know.
Those are treasures though, man. You should watch them.
Yeah.
I'm not commenting on how good they are, but like isn't Bewitched that was Bewitched, the second one, right?
Oh, that was totally Bewitched.
Is the husband or is the male lead in Bewitched a pansy?
A little bit.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Okay.
Kind of a weaselly kind of guy.
So he would be like that. Maybe that's where they're getting that from. Him like cowering in the bed from someone knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And then but then he's going to go like talk in like the security meeting to like be big in bed. I was just, like, what is going on here? I don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't like that he was just cowering in his bed.
We didn't comment on the sword notebook at the end of the first episode too.
Yeah. So what is there to comment? A sword notebook showed up. Someone was watching it on a TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
But that becomes the speculation point.
Someone's monitoring.
Is it monitoring, or because Wanda is their captive, or is it monitoring because Wanda is, keeping them away?
I think the
Like, how are we
second
looking-
episode. I think the second episode made it very clear that it's Wanda keeping people away. Because she says no and then rewinds the tape, and then it ends without the bug man coming out of the sewer.
Yeah.
That was that,
there's
to
a
me.
lot that can be speculated.
I think,
on that.
yeah, I think there's obviously multiple parties yeah, I think that's what I said. We don't know. There's so much stuff that we don't know. There's so much story that's kind of like that's what I'm saying. It's just sitcom humor right now. Like there's hints of what's happening, but there's not enough to really speculate. And the only reason why we can even speculate on this stuff, I feel like, is because we know that Wanda creates pocket dimensions with the House of M storyline, and that's the only reason why we even can speculate on any of this stuff. Because I really think that you said your girlfriend and my wife, they have like no idea what's happening. Like, what does this even mean? Like what?
Yeah.
I really did. I didn't like the. So yeah, I did that opening scene with him carrying the bed. I hated that scene. Like that was screamed woke SJW to me, making the male out to be a pansy. I didn't like that at all.
Well, you wouldn't like the original Bewitched then. That's
Yeah.
why.
Well, maybe, I don't know. He was just like I don't know. I felt like it was really overacted. Like, yeah, he's carrying in bed. Like I couldn't stand it.
You wouldn't like the original Bewitched then, because that is to a T the original Bewitched. It's overreacting to the nth level.
Situations.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't find that funny. I just was like, this is stupid. That's my view of the humor. I'm sure other people probably loved it. Thought it was hilarious. I didn't think it was funny.
Well, you can see that, down the road, definitely with all the things in play here that, obviously it's set for a tonal change, as soon as
they made that very clear at the end of the episode where they literally changed the color palette too. They added color. Yeah, what about says back in the Bewitched days that pansy male was a rare thing. Now it is not. Yeah, that's how I'm kind of reading it. Yeah, you might be you can claim that you're like referencing Bewitched, but it's just so like that's all you see now in modern television. It's not like it's not funny. To me it's irritating, stupid, and makes me want to turn off whatever I'm watching. With that, it's just I hate it.
You're gonna hate the Full House episode then.
Have you seen the Full House one already?
No, but you've seen Full House,
dude. So when
Bob Saget's character.
When I was growing up, I didn't watch live action stuff. I didn't watch sitcoms. I didn't. I watched Dragon Ball Z, Power Rangers, X-Men animated stuff. I didn't watch any of that stuff. I didn't watch like any of those sitcom shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just didn't do that.
My parents watched a lot of that stuff, so
I watched Full House for Stephanie. That was it. That was my girl back in the day.
I was playing a lot of soccer too, so I had soccer practice. I was at my parents. I dropped me off to school before extended day. I was at school for extended day in the mornings, and then in the afternoons. I got home. I watched like an hour maybe with I would barely catch when Dragon Ball Z came on, the Toonami block. And then I would be going to soccer practice or doing my homework or whatever. That's just what
I can't believe you didn't play
my
football.
days were. I played soccer. I played soccer 94 World Cup. It was in the United States and watched it and then played soccer. I was a football and basketball guy back in the day. I played basketball too in through elementary school.
Band camp.
That does not surprise me. You got the bell. You got the bell. All right, so back to WandaVision. I did like the scene where the guy scene where they're having they have their club or whatever in the library, whatever it was, and they're he's being all serious about the crime and stuff, and they're just like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, sit down. This is why you haven't been invited, because we're trying to like, this is about us like just hanging out or whatever. It was a little, so this might be like, I say that I liked it, but I also felt like they were trying to make the men to be women because they were all
gossipy.
But I liked the like, so when they were gossiping, I was like, okay, come on. But then like Vision is like, he's a commie, like Norm's a communist. I was like, okay, that works. He's like, I got a huge scoop. Norm's a communist. And then everyone's like, no, he's not. And it's like, he probably really is a communist. I don't know who Norm is. Norm the Hispanic guy that he was working with.
Hispanic,
I don't know. I didn't know who
guy,
Norm was. Yeah, I couldn't tell. Whatever he is, yeah, it's hard to tell. Like his coworker, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny. I thought the whole gum thing was stupid, and like I thought that was dumb.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
that was.
They simplified his inner workings just to be like 3 gears. Just, and I don't know if that was Wanda's interpretation of how he works, but the way that it literally gummed up the gears.
Yeah, they did that just so they could do that line. Like, he gummed up the gears. Like they actually use that line in the episode. Yeah,
Anyway,
what about
yeah,
says?
I think I like stupid humor too. So
yeah, you like Thor Ragnarok. So I'm not hating on. I'm not hating on what people find funny. I'm just telling you
Did you see
my opinion.
Huh?
What's that?
Did you see what the Sentinel said, Don?
Yeah, if he's got 3 gears, yeah, okay. Ring the
dude,
bell.
that thing's always working. Apparently,
it works really. It works. I mean, it worked immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard.
As soon as they got home, man. As soon as they got home, it was. They were what 6 months in, or more.
It's hard. It's hard for that not to work if Elizabeth Olsen is around. Good God.
So what about says imagine that commie Disney making jokes about someone being a commie? Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah. So they're making fun of themselves. The whole tea party thing, I didn't find any of that funny. With like the Dottie being a control freak or whatever, and her like interrupting them. I didn't find any of that humorous.
dude, I didn't know that was Monica Rambeau.
Oh, Geraldine is Tiana Paris.
Yeah, I did not know.
I suspected that, but I wasn't sure
Because I was expecting the big Afro episode.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably get that later. But yeah, I suspected that Geraldine was Tiana. I don't know. I don't recognize her yet. So like I didn't like pull up a picture to see. It was like, is this her? But that's who I suspect. That's what I suspected. Yeah. So it also gives me so like the whole like going back to the end of the first episode, it makes me think that they're riffing off of the Jim Carrey film where he's in the Truman Show. Yeah, there's a little bit of Truman Show potentially happening as well, especially when you see the Bug Man come out of the sewers. In the second episode. But yeah, so back to the tea party. I didn't think I thought that was just, there was nothing that made me laugh there. Then when you get the radio signal,
I think it wasn't meant to make you laugh.
I think the lead up with Dottie was, I feel like that was supposed to be humorous. Like them being like, oh, she's so overbearing. Like, I feel like I'm on pins and needles here. Like, I think that was supposed to be funny.
A lot of the stuff in that is lead up and
Easter eggs,
references to other stuff that's going to be happening.
Going back to the second episode, we see, or the beginning of the second episode, after the stupid scene with I think it's a stupid scene with Vision being afraid of a tree. Wanda gets here's like another like bang, and then like you see like a sword helicopter, like toy that's colored show up, and she's looking at it, and then Agnes shows up, and I thought Agnes's little back and forth there was kind of humorous, especially when the mailman comes by and she's like just delivering a message, and she's like I just thought I thought that pun was funny. That pun worked for me. Don't shoot the messenger, and because he's the postman.
Yeah, but I think it was also that was an outside person.
Yeah, that's why I thought that was kind of funny too. And then and she like looks at his butt too, and is like, "Ooh, he looks good." And I thought that was kind of funny. So I thought that was, at least it wasn't funny. It was humorous, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then so then we get to this radio scene after the two do their own like the Visions with the guys, Wanda's with the girls. The radio scene. Who was that saying like, what does he say to her?
Wanda, who's doing this to you?
Yeah, Wanda, who is doing this to you? Who was saying that?
Because I know the casting. My suspicion is Jimmy Woo.
Okay, I wasn't sure. To me, it almost sounded like Cap.
Cap?
I don't know. Yeah, it sounded like Chris Evans is Captain America, but I doubt that's who it was. But that was like my initial thought.
Okay, so we know that Chris Evans is in talks to reprise his role in a future Marvel film.
Well, at least that's what Deadline's reporting.
That's
He
what
says
Deadline's
like,
reporting.
I've never heard of this. He tweeted out like, I don't like news to me. That's what he said.
Usually, when we hear about things, it's because they already happened.
Yes.
In terms of casting and stuff. So
Right.
What if this is actually Chris Evans calling out from the radio?
Well, to me, he also is the one that makes the most sense, because who else is she like really bonded with in the MCU? Like Cap is like, she was on Cap's team. Maybe the Falcon potentially, because they're with each other. Clint's dead.
Wait,
no, he's not.
No,
He's
Clint
still alive.
Barton? No.
He's not. He's not dead. Sorry. It's Black Widow's dead. No, I'm trying to think, like, you could be, Clint possibly, but I guess because they had that moment in Endgame at the end, right? Wasn't it Clint and her?
Civil War.
No,
he helps liberate her from Vision to join Cap's team.
Yeah, but at the end of Endgame, they have that moment about that mourning moment, because she's lost Vision and he's lost Natasha, right? I think they have that mourning moment there on like the river. I think there's like a river there. Right. So yeah, that would make sense too, because they bonded there. But I don't know. I thought Cap made the most sense because Cap is he was leading that team when she was part of the Avengers after Ultron, and then she was also working with him in between Civil War and Infinity War as well. I don't know. It probably isn't. That was just like what I was like suspecting. You're probably right. It's probably the Jimmy Woo who was he Shield? I think he was Shield, right?
Now he's Sword, I guess.
Well, we don't know. We'll find out. What About says Chris Evans is very hateable. Might as well call him Captain Comedy instead of America now, with the way he's been running his mouth. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, they should just do. He'd be perfect for Captain Hydra and just do that story arc, because they've already got.
Keep him off of Instagram. That's all I gotta say. Well-endowed man.
I haven't looked at any of that stuff and don't ever plan to. So
I didn't order the wieners today.
And I think that if I'm going to judge, I think you can judge him on that too, because I don't think those were leaks. I think that was him doing it. So there's that too. But so I liked the magic show. I thought that was funny. Like the gum thing worked. I liked how I didn't like the gum thing as a concept, but I liked how you got the payoff with the magic show and him messing everything up and just flying, putting stuff through him. What else does he do? What's the second thing that he does? Because first thing he does is fly.
Oh, picks up the piano.
He picks up the piano. And then you have to see Wanda trying to look, it's all part of the show. But then you still have the guy with the big bushy mustache who's like, that was my mother's piano. It's a cardboard. It's a piece of cardboard now. And I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But yeah, so I like that part I thought that was funny. I was amused by it. But it wasn't so if you compare this to just a regular episode, either of these episodes to just a regular episode of 2.5 Men or any other sitcom, those sitcoms are, I think, way better written. Have you laughing kind of throughout the show, whereas this I felt like half of the show I wasn't laughing, and then the second half I was.
I think it's the problem of they have to put these moments of sheer dread and terror for what's lurking behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and
I feel like those are in the
bad balance.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I feel like those moments are in the second half where I'm laughing, so they work. Like the scene where the guy's choking is in the second half. Then you get the stinger at the end of the first episode, and then in the second episode, the only thing you get is the helicopter in the beginning. It's the second part where you get the bug man coming out of the sewer, and then her saying no, and then you get the rewind.
Oh wait, no. Let me rephrase it. Not a bad balance, but trying to do the balancing act of having these moments of lightness and hilarity, and then you moving on to these moments of sheer dread and terror. It's a writing problem.
Well, yeah.
So I'm going to disagree with you. I actually think they balanced that well in the second half. I just don't find the first half of either show funny. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that worked well. I thought the sausage thing was great. And where Wanda just kind of drops out. Wanda just drops out and is like, "Help him, Vision." And you see her kind of drop the charade.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I think when the whole facade of the dimension breaks down and they get back into proper reality. I mean, we're going to see a whole lot of a shift at that point because it's going to become an entirely different show once that happens. So
essentially,
yeah. Well, it just is because right now this is inside the facade. So you're just seeing that perspective for now, and then when that breaks down and they get into reality and what is actually producing the facade or what is making her produce the facade, whatever. When they get into fighting the real big bad behind everything, then you're gonna see it become a completely different show because it's gonna go from the sitcom-y type deal to the half-hour action set piece.
So you mentioned the big bad. I do think we got a tease of that, and I'm going to let you take this one, Don.
Okay, so
during the tea party scene, right?
So
I think we're on the same.
So we talk about. I talked about how there wasn't really a lot of funny things happening during that tea party scene because they wanted to set up to something bigger and give you a little bit of a hint that something big is brewing in the background. I don't know why they did this in the second episode, but Catherine Hahn says, it's Wanda who says the devil is in the details.
Yes.
And then Catherine Hahn's character says, and some. And
devil in the details is not the only place he is.
Not the only place he is, yeah.
And she says it like, the devil in the details is not the only place he is. She says it something like that, like it's very obvious that like, oh, this is important. And it's like, who's the devil?
Right. Which is, okay, so number one, that's way too on the nose.
It's
and just confirmed the stuff that I was told earlier by my source.
It's not Mephisto.
No, the devil is Mephisto. Marvel's devil is Mephisto, yes.
Yeah, Marvel's devil is Mephisto because they can't take the Judeo-Christian Satan.
Right.
Even though they just called him the devil in the show.
Yeah. Which is, it's so weird to me. Like, be right back.
I wonder if you know what would be cool, or at least like sentimentally, what I want to see is, again, they take a show like this. I would love to see them introduce Magneto, like have her have a flashback to her father.
Well, remember, she's not a mutant, so Magneto's not her father. She gets her powers from the Mind Stone.
But she could, but they could, like, actually work it in, like, since she's sort of like in a possibly a self-construct right now, if we're going by the aspect of,
Well, there's a rumor that they're going to show the X-Men in Doctor Strange, and WandaVision is supposed to lead into Doctor Strange. So there's a possibility there. But I want to get back to the devil in the details and Mephisto. So Mephisto plays, like, if you've been following any of our coverage on WandaVision, you know that we go back and reference a lot of the classic Scarlet Witch stories, and in those stories, Wanda deals with Mephisto quite often, and the two twins she has that she has are actually shards of Mephisto's soul that had been broken up, and Mephisto is trying to reclaim them. And then you have this witch Agnes who actually tries to help Wanda fight back against Mephisto, because Mephisto is basically becoming like extremely powerful, and it's about to like destroy everything. But in order to stop him, Agnes like wipes Wanda's memory, so she doesn't remember that she has her kids, and she doesn't remember anything, and that depowers Mephisto, and things kind of go back to normal until Wanda later figures out that Agnes basically took away her family, and then she brutally kills her, and she starts a whole war where she like literally conjures up all of these supervillains to fight against the Avengers single-handedly, and then you have Magneto has to show up, and no, it's Doctor Strange. Sorry, Doctor Strange is the one who shows up, and is able to like defeat her, and then I think Magneto takes her away. In that storyline.
What about?
But those are like storylines that developed over decades. So like the Mephisto Scarlet Witch thing was something that happened, I think, in like the 70s, and then you had like the Doctor like her killing Agnes was like, I feel like that's sometime in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
When they followed up on that. So those storylines took place in two different time periods, but they follow up on each other.
What about ask us a question? He asks, who do you guys think should play the MCU Magneto? And
Michael Fassbender.
I still, yeah, exactly. I was going to say that too, John, because I think that they shouldn't do all replacements on the casting. I do believe they should keep Fassbender to play Magneto. He's just a perfect Magneto.
Now,
yeah, and the guy for Xavier too.
Yeah. I know.
I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah, the dude.
He was in that. He played the Beast character in.
McAvoy.
Yeah, McAvoy.
Yeah, James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Okay. Having said that, so if everybody follows our coverage, we talk about Evan Peters showing up in the show. He was cast in the show. So, are we going to be closer to the needle on saying that he is now Mephisto?
I think that's a solid prediction.
Yeah,
from what we saw in
series,
episode 2.
could be.
Yes.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah. I think that's a solid prediction. I would not be surprised, especially with the story you're working on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think so. So that was a huge Easter egg there. Obviously, the Strucker thing was in your face with the watch. Who is this bug guy that came out of the sewers? He was covered, like the flies were following him all around.
Was it flies or bees?
Like well, because it could have been bees because he was in a beekeeper type outfit.
Candyman.
Because I think when I saw that, I'm like, Lord of the Flies. That's freaking Mephisto trying to crawl out of the sewers of Wanda's subconscious.
Yeah, I kind of thought like that, but then she like literally rejected him like right away. That I was like, no.
Yeah.
Rewound the tape.
That's what I was thinking in the beginning, but then why would he wear a bee suit? And why would he have the sword symbol on his back?
Yeah, he did, right? Yeah, he did. Well, he could be, I mean, Ares, like if they want to like riff off of Wonder Woman, Ares was working with the British government and the Germans and playing both sides. So why wouldn't Mephisto's the devil? Why wouldn't he play both sides?
Yeah.
Alexander Vidakovich is saying so. This is already told. So none of the MCU stuff is direct adaptations, but they are adaptations of old Marvel Comics stories. So they are referencing and adapting certain things from the stories, but they usually add their own twist. Like Captain America: Civil War, like that is
Civil War.
That is a comic book storyline. But they tried to like adapt some of the stuff with like the Sokovia Accords, but then they kind of went off the rails with what's his name?
Allegiances and stuff like that.
The Baron.
Zemo.
What's Baron's name? Zemo, yeah, with Zemo. So there's that, and then like a lot of that stuff is it's adapted. Like Infinity War is a book. Adapted that, but obviously they changed Thanos's goals and ambitions and like why he was doing what he was doing and all that stuff.
Some might say it was for the better for that movie, at least. Sometimes it's worse.
I think the way they adapted, I think Infinity War was was solid.
Yeah.
Endgame, obviously. Not so much.
No. It was time travel.
Yes. What about says I would love if they got Ulrich from Dark Netflix series to play Magneto. Yeah, he would be great. That dude is pretty. He goes pretty dark in Dark. That could work too. Yeah, I think that would be a good cast. I mean, this is I've said this before. Like, there's so many actors out there that could probably really nail it. It really comes down to the writing and the direction.
Well, I definitely want, like the Sentinel said, I definitely want younger ones too. I mean, I want to see like I see X-Men on the screen. I want to see I want to see like a young Kitty Pryde. I want to see like Cable in his prime. I want to see like a good
You want to see teenage Kitty Pryde when she's first being recruited in like the Dark Phoenix story?
You do not want to see Kitty Pryde now.
I want to see like old school like Bishop. And
I thought they killed Kitty Pryde. Is she back? Is she back alive?
Well,
she's alive, but she's like she's.
I imagine in MCU they'll bring her back.
No, they'll transition her.
So Kitty Pryde is actually there's the director for the director for She-Hulk actually was wearing a Kitty Pryde shirt and she posted ready to go to work. So possibly Kitty Pryde might be showing up in She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see like the X-Men in their prime badassery, mode. I don't want to see them like exactly older.
I think the Sentinel's right. I wouldn't mind seeing X-Men animated series. I think that's the rumor. They want to go for an X-Men animated series vibe. when they do an actual X-Men series. But to me, it sounds like live action. But with that X-Men animated series vibe in the live action.
And I hope at least in the MCU version, please do Rogue some justice. Please give her a proper portrayal.
She needs that southern charm, that southern accent. Too.
I need Rogue from the cartoon.
And she needs to put Brie Larson into a coma.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's how they get rid of Brie Larson. Rogue
For
takes
20
her
years.
out. I do want to get back to WandaVision, kind of getting off topic here.
That's fine.
Sentinel, that's
so I mean, we got to the Bugman, and then we get the rewind, and they ended with the kiss again, just like I think the first episode ended with a kiss too.
Yes.
So that's going on. I guess maybe there isn't really anything else to say. Like it's kind of just like predictions. Sword is obviously trying to infiltrate, but they might already have been. So I think there's like multiple groups trying to infiltrate whatever this thing is that people are able to view through a television set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like weird things too. So those commercials are weird.
Yeah, it's obvious. They make it not hard to follow that it's a construct of some sort, an alternate dimension.
I disagree. I think that if you don't have the comic book knowledge of the characters, I think it's extremely hard to figure that out. Both Don's girlfriend and my wife had no idea about that. They didn't pick up on that.
Well, I guess maybe it's because I previously read comics that I kind of knew that, but
right.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. If you read comics, it's obvious you have a better idea of like kind of what's happening.
Yeah, because it hit me pretty early on that it's obvious to me they're in an alternate dimension or a construct or a simulation. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but I don't think normies pick up on that.
Fair enough.
So.
Yeah, two examples. My girlfriend caught on to the fact that there was something weird going on.
Right.
But she couldn't pinpoint
couldn't put her finger on it.
Yeah, couldn't put her finger on it. Like, what's going on? Is somebody trying to look at what they're doing? Is this like, are they acting for somebody else? Or
right.
Is this all in her mind?
It's obvious there's something strange happening, but what that strange is, it's not clear. Like, because you get the only times where you get the strangeness, I think there's like four or five times. In the first episode, it's Wanda telling the guy to stop, to telling Vision to help the guy from choking, and then and then you get the stinger at the end with the person with the sword notebook looking at the television show with its own credits that are separate from the show's credits. And then in the second episode, you have the helicopter in the bushes. Then you get the radio at the tea party, and then you get the Bugman coming out of the sewers. Right, so that's 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of they say the reviews that I've watched over the show, they got an early review, and they watched 3 episodes, and they say unanimously that the 3rd episode is where it really hits its stride.
Well, I don't know how they can say that if they've only seen 3 episodes.
I mean, there's a lot more stuff. There's a lot more stuff in the 3rd episode that hooks you.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, because I don't feel like I'm not hooked. I feel like watching these 2 shows don't make me really want to watch a 3rd one. I'm not like, I need to figure out like what's happening. It's like I don't know. I'm just like, it wasn't funny. It looks like you're trying to make a sitcom with something ominous happening in, but half the sitcom isn't funny. So it's not really like, I got to watch this next week. I mean, I'm going to because we're reviewing it, but it's not something that like it's just like Mandalorian. If we weren't reviewing it, I wouldn't watch it because it's there. I got better things to do.
I'm rather it has me mildly intrigued, but I feel like it doesn't hook you. It's not like it doesn't have the I guess the pool of like, you know,
it's not Stranger Things. It's not Dark.
It's not Battlestar.
It's not Lost.
Yeah, I never watched Lost, so I can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that WTF kind of hook.
There isn't a cliffhanger at the end. The first one kind of, I guess, they tried to add with the stinger, but I don't know. It's just
I mean, I'm just indifferent at the moment until I see, a little more, but I don't have anything that's like a watershed moment that said, man, this makes me really look forward to the next episode, or I really need to watch this. I haven't had like that watershed moment or specific like character or anything to really connect me to want to bring me in and say, I'm looking forward to the next thing. I just don't feel that way.
Yeah. So for example, The Expanse has like a murder mystery in its first episode and it hooks you. You want to like find out about that murder mystery, especially if you can the first episode of The Expanse, I do think kind of drags a little bit, but once if you can get through that first episode, it does hook you with that murder mystery. Whereas like WandaVision, there's obviously something strange going on. I have no idea what it is. So I'm not like trying to, I don't know. I don't feel hooked by the mystery that they're showing us. And I also wanted to point out what Alexander here says. They are trying deliberately to make it corny and low quality. I think they were trying to homage those old shows. I think the first one was probably I Love Lucy, and then the second one was Bewitched.
Show.
Yeah, they're.
Oh, the first one was Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah,
he actually consulted on the set.
Yeah,
okay. So the first one's Dick Van Dyke, then, and then the second one is
Bewitched.
Is definitely Bewitched. So I think they were going with that. But you can still make it funny though. Like those shows were funny, so people were watching them for years, and they thought they were funny. So I don't know. I just didn't find the first half of those episodes funny. I thought they were
eventually.
That might just be me with the type of humor I like.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's different strokes for different folks too. Yeah, I get that, but I think there's gonna be when it turns into like the actual what's going on behind the scenes and gives more clues and things like that. I think it's going to get interesting when it switches to more of an action adventure, a little bit of drama mixed in, but.
I think you're right, and I also find it interesting that they released 2 episodes. I think if they released 1, I think people don't come back.
Right.
Yeah.
I think 2, there's a little bit more mystery because you get the Bugman, you get the radio scene, you get the helicopter. There's like Wanda's like you feel like you're trying to figure out the mystery along with Wanda, but then with the Bugman, she's just like no and like rewinds. So there's a little conflict there.
Second episode definitely carried the
yes. The second episode has more of the intrigue and mystery that like one wants to kind of hook you, and I think they had to do that because I don't think people come back. I think you lose a lot of people after the first if you only put out the first episode.
Yeah, you hit it though.
Sure.
John, when you said The Expanse had this to hook you on the first episode, which is a murder mystery. So there's something missing from the show, and it's the stakes.
Yes, you have no idea what's going. Like even us,
exactly.
Like comic book people, we can kind of fill in those blanks, but there's still blanks in the show. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. We like there's a helicopter, there's a radio, and we see a sword notepad and a guy coming out of a sewer. Like that's what we know. From the show, we don't know anything other than that, and like I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm being a little too presumptuous here, but I feel like you need a little bit more for me to want to like, if I really wanted to recommend the show
Well,
to get me.
Sentinel just made a really good comment. If you want to highlight that and read that.
WandaVision would have been better if they had taken a David Lynch Twin Peaks approach fully instead of this meandering shows with little teases in it that no one knows what they mean. I totally agree. Yeah. No, I'm with you, Alexander. I think The Expanse, the first episode, is very slow until you get to the murder mystery at the end. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
100%.
So
I had to watch it twice. The first time I watched The Expanse, I didn't come back because I couldn't get hooked. I was just like, what this? I'm not feeling it. But then my sister-in-law like recommended it. Gary recommended it. A bunch of people recommended it, and I gave it a second chance. I got all the I pushed through and I got hooked. And Thomas Jane like was carrying the show for that first season. Yeah, and his storyline was freaking awesome, and I loved following that murder mystery with him and figuring out what was going on. And that murder mystery turned into a crazy sci-fi conspiracy, which is really awesome too. So yeah,
he had that old school PI vibe, which I loved. And because it was like a throwback, and that was cool.
Yes, I loved it. He was a beat cop hunting down like the most minuscule leads to really figure it out. He was someone who was dedicated to the job, and even when the brass were trying to tell him to like F off, he still pursued the leads because he was pursuing justice.
Yeah. There's a natural curiosity of just wanting to solve a mystery,
right. Yeah. That's why pulp is still popular.
Yeah.
That's why, that's why Nora Roberts is one of the most best-selling authors out there. She writes like romance mysteries, murder mysteries. People eat that up.
It's interesting though, this 2-episode format, because by the way, folks, I'm going to be writing a story because you guys know that I did Pegasus Actual yesterday. Well, it just so happens we got some breaking Galactica news that I'm going to be writing about. Interesting stuff brewing. There was an interview with what's that guy, Esmail, and one of the things he talked about was like kind of based on the episode content or the story content, they might urge the platform to release it in like 2 episodes if it's like a specific 2-episode story arc, or 3 episodes if it involves a certain important element, or just one. It's like, so he's talking about release based on actual like in-story content, which
that sounds what Hollywood's doing. I mean, we've seen different release schedules. Obviously, Mandalorian does single episodes every week, like traditionally. Netflix is still just dumping entire seasons on their platforms. You have Amazon putting out like 3 or 4 at a time at the beginning of each season, and then obviously now we have WandaVision here putting out 2.
Is it going to be 2 going forward?
I don't think so. I think it'll be 2 and then 1.
Yeah, Alexander Vidakovich. No, the guy that's doing the new Battlestar is Sam Esmail that did Mr. Robot, which I'm cautiously optimistic, but not as optimistic, because I kind of get the same vibe that John does with most things nowadays. It's he's definitely got a case of TDS. He's on the woke train, and I'm not super optimistic as I was, because, man, when I was reporting on it last summer, I was really optimistic, and then my optimism kind of went. But
because they were going to do a transitioning person for Starbuck.
No, they also they changed that they were gonna. It's like a remake now.
It's gonna be a bisexual Starbuck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, so we're closing in on an hour. There was one thing I did want to point out about WandaVision that I did kind of like. I like that they're a happily married couple. I feel like we don't see that a lot anymore in TVs. It's usually people who are If there is a married couple, they like even this like Ted Lasso show that's on Apple TV. Like he seems like he's a happily married guy, and then like you get to episode 6 and he's breaking up with his wife.
Well,
but like most of the time they're usually like a single person, or something tragic happens. Like you don't usually get to see. Right. Well, you never. Yeah, you never that dude. You'd like never see that. They don't show it.
So you really want me to put my head through a wall, don't you?
We're not going to turn this into the Battlestar Galactica stream. This is still a WandaVision stream. But yeah. So I did like that they're happily married, and you can tell that that they, even if they are even if Vision is a construct of Wanda, at least they're showing them caring for each other.
Well,
but we'll see if that lasts. I have a feeling it's not going to. So
yeah.
What we know.
Well,
we'll see.
It's a symptom of the way it is now, John. And I hate the fact that there's such hatred out there for the concept of family and in a nuclear family. Having a spouse and kids like it's some taboo. It's not a taboo. Far from. It's really the heartbeat of our society. But
wait a minute, guys. Evangeline Lilly's character, the Wasp, has both parents alive and well and married.
Yes.
John had to think about that.
Except the Wasp has been gone for like 40 years.
Yeah. Through no fault of their own.
Right. She sacrificed herself. The greatest example of love, sacrificing yourself for another.
There you go.
But yes. But it's still few and far between.
All right.
And these are the two main characters in like happily married. So I do like that.
Okay.
Wasp is not a main character in either Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
She's only in the second one, I think. She gets a cameo in the first one. All right, so let's go do a number score for episode 1. Start with you, Don.
Okay. 6. It's a little above average in terms of like it's calling back to these classic TV shows. There's moments where I was actually entertained. I was slightly intrigued, but not enough to where I would go, you know what, I need to watch more of this, because like we found out that there was missing stakes, like actual like consequences to actions. It's something that a lot of these shows need in order to hook an audience.
Yeah, I think it's missing exposition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's really missing, is some exposition. But no, I'm with you. I'll just say a 5. I give it a 5. I think it was average. I don't think it was above average. I think it was just average. There was some good stuff. There was some bad stuff. It wasn't outstanding. It wasn't like amazing, but it was average. Drew?
I say for the first one a 5.5, for the 5.5, and then for the second one a 7.
What do you have for the second one, Don?
It's probably the same, a 6.
Same.
Yeah. And I know why Drew's given the second episode a 7.
Yeah, he likes the outfit.
Yeah,
that outfit. I really thought I really thought they weren't going to give us the outfit, because she's just like, that's for you, honey. And then he like puts it on, and I was like, oh, we're not going to get to see it. Like, they're not going to show it. And then I was like, oh, she actually has the outfit on. I can't believe it. It's like, wow.
It's 2020 and she has the outfit, or 2021 and she has the outfit on. I mean, we're moving in the right direction, fellas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she actually complained about her outfits. Publicly. She's publicly complained about her outfits. So I was kind of surprised she did. Surprised she put that on too. For the second one,
it was better than the first.
It was better than the first one. So like, yeah,
I'll give it a 5. above.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. 5.5. It's still average. It wasn't good, but
I
5.5.
enjoyed it, yeah.
The outfit doesn't. Like. I don't know.
It
Like,
was
yes, I like that.
bad.
Yes, the outfit is great, but it doesn't add to the story or like anything else.
I thought it was all right. I mean, I legit like the second episode way better than the first, but and I thought
I didn't like the Tea Party thing.
no, the Tea Party was stupid, but I liked everything else.
I hated that opening scene with him cowering under the
blankets. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really pay attention to that too much. It was just kind of goofy.
I did not like it. So he was acting like a child would.
Yeah.
I think that was my biggest problem with that. All right. We will be back next week to talk about WandaVision. Thank you all for joining us. We do this Fridays at 7. We usually go for about an hour. So thank you all. And we'll be back. And then we'll also have our Banding Live on Wednesdays at 9. So we'll be back for that. Spencer will be joining us next week for this. He's just out of town traveling right now.
Yeah, as always, check out our boundingintocomics.com for the latest. We definitely have new stories up every day. I'm working on one, and I know Don's working on stuff. So make sure that you check that out, and we will see you.
All right, thanks all. Have a great weekend.
Night, guys.
Later.